Hey everyone, welcome to Talk Sustain to Me. This sustainable business series is about innovative, sustainable business or startup solutions. In each episode, I interview a business leader who shares their unique sustainable business journey. I'm really excited to have FIONI, founder of Not Only Powder, joining us today. Hi FIONI.
Hi everyone, and hi Natalie. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for showing up. So first of all, would you like to briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, sure. So this is FIONI. I'm the founder of Not Only Powder. So obviously we aim to reduce food waste at the same time promoting health. About myself, well, this is actually tougher than introducing NOP. So if I'm not really working, then I really love, go traveling. Unfortunately, I have less time, less chance to travel once I started my own business. Well, when I have more time, then pretty much I will be going to swim or do some sport just to, release my stress. Yeah.
So you have founded the brand Not Only Powder. As far as I know, NLP is famous for its innovative idea of upcycling ugly fruits and turning them into high-quality dried fruits and powder products. So I'm really impressed by this idea. Would you like to introduce the brand and each of its products like fruit crepes, fruit smoothies, bundles, and bottle?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, well, first of all, we created this name is very, easy to, memorize, right? Not Only Powder, but the reason behind is we want to not just to encourage, to reduce food waste in a creative way, but also to helping people to understand, well, a healthy lifestyle is actually pretty easy to develop. That's why we just call ourselves Not Only Powder. There are a lot of things that, we think could be pretty interesting moving forward. So introducing my product. So I have some clips on my.
That's really excited.
So we currently have 3 different crepes. So it's very straightforward that we collect, apple, strawberry, and banana and turn them into freeze-dried.
Yeah.
This is just pretty much like snacks. So parents love to, buy it for their kids because a lot of kids might not, really like to eat fruits. So they are looking for that having, vegetables. That is something that we would love to do in the future. And our signature product is actually powder. So you can see, so maybe a little bit hard to see the name of it. So one of my favorites is called Pikachu. So yeah, it's an interesting name. So every single product we have an interesting name of it.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, there's a story behind every single product. So for example, Pikachu. So I named this, one of the reasons because my younger brother, who's also my co-founder, he used to love, Pikachu, the character, a lot.
I see, yeah.
I think when we grow up, I mean, especially when we try to look into a lot of businesses, sometimes we tend to forget about, our inner child or something that, the guts that we used to have. So we want to, remind people not just about, health. We want to also remind them, hey, there are a lot of challenges on the way when you grow up, but you should actually, never forget about what you really want when you were a child, right?
Yeah.
Something we want to do to make it more and more fun, which is a part of our brand DNA as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting. In each product, you have a message that is really meaningful. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's very light and delicious. It's very convenient. So we just also think about how can we help people to getting help easier. So packaging and also the name and also the size is also some of our concern as well. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's great. It's really interesting to know each of your products and also the message behind the name of the product, which is really interesting. Let's move on to some topics about the sustainable business model. So NLP is known for its promotion of sustainability. It's helping to promote different sustainable development goals like SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, as well as SDG 13, climate action. Well, can you share more about the sustainable business model and how does the business model drive a circular economy and the 2030 SDG agenda?
Sure. So we have both B2B and B2C. So let me get started with B2C because it's more straightforward. So B2C, just like the other online shop that we sell our stocks online, right? But we're trying to educate our audience using what I just said is like more creative way for them to understand what is like, like responsible consumption that we try to emphasize. So this is pretty simple. But for B2B is a very different story. So we do collect fruits from, food stores, potentially supermarket, and then in discussions with hotels. So the way that we work with hotels is we collect their fruits and then we turn their fruits into the product. And the product will be also sold at their hotel.
Oh, that's great.
Exactly, we're trying to close a loop, right? And it's not just about, responsible consumption, but also production as well. And of course, like, health and well-being and also sustainability goes hand in hand for us. So I think we try to put all these elements and key messages when we try to work with different partners. Yeah.
You mentioned closing the loop. I think that's the core values of like driving a circular economy. Great. So now let's talk about the sustainability impacts. So I know that the company has so far sold over 2,700 products and reduced over 1,200 kilograms of carbon emissions. So, so far, what are the sustainability impacts of the brand that deliver to the environment and also the community? And how does the brand measure these impacts?
So this is a good question. So obviously we try to reduce food waste, right? And a lot of people would say, okay, how would you measure it? And whether you know that it's actually efficient or not. So we do have a supply management platform that we try to, record every food waste that we collect. But unfortunately, it doesn't mean that 100% of food waste could be, like turned into the products. So there is still, wastage, which we are trying to think of maybe there are other creative ways that we can do in the future. That's how we track and also measure the carbon emissions that we help to reduce. So it's an estimated one. Also, I think we try not to just look into the food waste because, when you produce the fruits or when we turn them into powder or grapes, there's a lot of carbon emission we also produced at the same time. Logistics, water that we consumed. So we're trying to be really careful, even for the packaging. People might also challenge us, right? Okay, you're using, less eco-friendly packaging. Well, which is true. So I think we are also imperfect, right? Like the fruits, but we're trying to improve what we can do in a better way. Or we also partner up with someone who actually can help us to think of what is the other packaging that can protect the powder a better way. At the same time, is also very environmentally friendly. I think in a nutshell is apart from reducing food waste to the community is we've been doing a lot of like workshops and events to like, not just at schools, organizations, NGOs. So we want to educate people about a core message, climate change, carbon emissions. We also realize one thing, unfortunately, I think you must know about that. We talk about these, but a lot of people might think it's not really relevant to them, right? It doesn't really affect their daily life yet, right? So they will care about personal benefits more than is, the impact to the environment. And that's one of the reasons why we have to talk about health first.
Yeah, exactly.
Always stick with them forever, right? No matter what happens. Yeah. So I think for us as to the community is something that we are trying to do better. But there's two other things that I talk about to anyone else. So it's something that we have trying to work with other organizations, which is we've been hiring single moms to help us to actually work on the production side and also marketing. So we have to train. So this is not just about social impact we talk about, right? We're trying to embrace especially women. And on the other hand is we also understand more than 70% of people, I mean underprivileged family, they can't consume or they can't afford nutrition high nutrition value products. Been doing something to give it to them in a much affordable price, or sometimes it's for free, but in a very small scale, because we are also startup. We're trying to we can for now, but this is something that also on our roadmap, how we can actually balance both commercials and also social.
Yeah, like what you said, like maybe hiring some single moms to help in the operation, or like holding some workshops for children to engage them about environmental topics like climate change. So these are really important and also meaningful things that your brand has been doing. Now, like what you said, you mentioned a little bit about the supply chain management. So now let's talk about the technology side of it. How does NOP like make use of technology? I know you've been using some freeze-dry technology, real-time data supply chain management technology. Can you explain more?
Yeah, sure. So for the freeze-dry technology, well, it's not rocket science, and this technology is not actually developed by us. So it actually leverage existing technology. Of course, there's certain user experience we wish to improve in the future. But I think for us, I would say, to start a business, it doesn't mean that we have to do everything, start from zero ourselves, right? I think sometimes work smart and understand what is the existing resources in different markets or from other companies is actually a smarter move and a faster move. So the freeze-dry technology is just we have a machines there, and then we just put the fruits there for 33 hours, and then we have to blend them into powder. So it's not rocket science at all. Meanwhile, what we have been developing is the supply management platform. So again, it's not rocket science, but the difficult part is we have to understand what kind of fruits that our fruit stores or partners have, right? And they have to, we have to make it very friendly enough or simple enough for them to understand and use. Otherwise, that they will be, I just want to call you, I just want to test you, and then we just you can make it easier. So but the reasons why we have to develop that is we realize doing it all manual work is very slow. If we keep doing this with simply an Excel, there's nothing wrong. It's just like, we can't get the data. It's hard for us to analyze everything. So that's why we try to, build the platforms, and it actually reduce our time in terms of communication costs or logistic costs or transportation costs, because everything can be tracked and also uploaded inventories on the platform.
Like NLP has done a great job in leveraging existing technology and make your operation more efficient. Like I know that NLP has also plans to leverage the AI technology in the near future. Like I wonder, how can AI be applied to the business, and is it also a part of the sustainable business model?
Yeah, so actually there are two possibilities. We are still looking into it because I think that it's too early for us to develop an AI. It needs certain supply or certain scale in order to do that. So what we do is, maybe I can go back to problems, why we need to have this computer vision AI thing. So when we examine the quality of the fruits, which is the QC process, right? Most of the companies in Hong Kong, at least, is actually using our eyes to do that, right? So, which means that there's a lot of subjective reasons or human bias involved, and the process is very slow, and it involves a lot of human resources, right? So if you imagine people are still using their eyes to do that, if they have a farm, then how much time, cost in terms of labor work that they have to do, right? And of course, what we talk about is human bias is something that we want to, or try to at least using data to prove what actually makes sense or not. People still questions about, ugly fruits, spare fruits, are you going to use some rotten one for us? How do you guarantee you're using something great for us? interestingly, the juice that we have been, drinking is actually not using any AI or machine to determine the quality, but we just don't know about it, right? And I just found it out when I asked them. So this thing during the process, if we were able to using the AI, which is the computer visions, to determine the quality, it's the taste of it, the color of it, the shelf life of it, which is at least 8 times faster than the manual QC process equipment. And the problem is also, if you look, just search on the internet during the production stage, which means that from farms to the production house, here already got about 15 to 44% of fruit loss because they can't wait long. I mean, for about like 1 week for you to check the quality, or they actually logistic issues. Right? Sometimes they got bruises on it, so they can't just go back to the supermarket because there's certain standard for that. And we are being able to use AI for pre-production and also at production stage is not just helping, reducing food waste, like what we're doing. It's also reducing food waste before we produce it.
Great. So it's amazing to know that NOP has adopted different types of existing technology and the AI one to achieve sustainability. And now let's talk about the challenges you face. Oftentimes, a business innovation has brilliant ideas, but when it comes to implementations, there could be a lot of challenges. So have you faced any challenges when you try to implement these ideas, and how did you tackle them?
Well, a lot of them, and still, until today, we have problems every day. Before we started about to start, we've been facing a lot of challenges. One of the main reasons because none of our team, so me and my younger brother, not from F&B at all. So no idea about food productions. We're not familiar with freeze-drying technology at all. So we simply have the idea, and then we just want to do something, right? So that consumes a lot of our time looking for the right solutions, and guts as well, because the machine is actually not cheap at all. Some people would prefer to like borrow from someone or go for cheaper options. So for us, thinking, oh, let's just either go all in or not doing it at all. So, I think the F&B, there's a big knowledge gap for us. So we have to knock on people's doors. We don't have anyone that from, a nutritional background. So we'll be doing whether it makes sense at all. We don't know, right? So luckily we have the connections to ask. So I think resources and knowledge gap was a big challenges for us when we are about to start. Yeah.
And finally, I know that NOP has been in operation for more than half a year and nearly a year. So within a short time, the brand has been awarded in many startup competitions like Hack UST, Tech 300, Hong Kong Social Enterprise Challenge, HKUST signed a $1 million entrepreneurship competition, and the World Green Organization ESG Accelerator, and many more. So as a starting brand, it has been a successful and growing real-life business. So how did you make this happen? Like, what are the key elements for a startup idea to grow from 0 to 1 into a real-life business like NOP?
Well, first of all, thank you for your compliments, but I never say that we are successful at this stage. Still a lot of things that are big room for us to improve. I would say, well, I have to admit 50% of it is really luck, right? Right time to do this, or right, people that help us as well. I think the key elements for us is it's actually a tough question. So what the key elements? Well, I think we are not afraid to fail. This is actually something right? Of course, I will be disappointed. I was disappointed when I failed some competitions, but I think I get better and better, like every time. I understand what other judges going to, ask me. Even I don't know how to answer, the next time I actually got, better preparations, right? this is the faster way for me to get feedback and know, okay, what I'm lacking of, or what's the team is not good enough. Why? Right? And then it's also help us to define something clear, which is very important, I think, is why we are the one to do it. I think if you asked me these questions a few years back then, I don't know how to answer you, or I don't understand why I need to think about this question. Why me? Right? But I think we started to think about, okay, who are the right teammates that we need to get on board? Right? Who are the right persons that we need to ask? And I think it's just some people, and I've been seeing a lot of people, because they failed in some competitions, or they think, well, yeah, I just want to try, right? Well, which is nothing wrong. But I think if you are into sustainability or want to do something related to sustainability and want to commercial it, you really need to have a lot of preparations and patience. That there are a lot of educations that you need.
That's true.
And especially in Hong Kong. So I think that is the determinations that our team have, and we are not shy also. I think this is the key, that you need to have someone in your team being able to, like, try out whatever that they can, or not feeling that, oh, well, I don't have much experience in this, so I should not do it, right? There's so many resources out there. It's just whether we want to knock on the doors, or we want to really spend a lot of time to figure it out. We've been doing a lot of experiments because we are not in F&B, right? That's why I think the competitions help us, not just in terms of like feedback, resources, actions, of course, a little bit of capital as well. I think just having a very clear mindset, is that what you really want? And
true.
Given yourself a timeline, I think we also give ourselves a timeline, like, okay, if within 6 months we can't do this, then what are we going to do then?
All right. So I think I'm learning a lot from you, not only in terms of like how to start a business, but having a great team is also important, and just keep trying, experimenting, and stay persistent. That's what I've learned from you today. So thank you so much for your time. This has been an exciting and fruitful sharing, and I'm really happy to have FIONI as one of my guests, like one of my very first guests on the Sustainable Business Series. I can't wait to try your products, and will definitely share them with others. Today we've covered NOP stories, its sustainability concepts, operations, impact, technology, and more. So for anyone who is interested in learning more, please visit NOP's official website or reach out to FIONI on LinkedIn. And thank you so much, FIONI, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned. See you in the next video.
Thank you so much. Bye.